Okay, so that last video I made was a response to a comment on the prior video about Islam, and they were just basically like, you're wrong! And then they didn't tell me why I was wrong about Islam, other than look at all this other irrelevant stuff that doesn't have to actually do with Islam. And then I have a hard time focusing my discussions to just one thing, so I brought, of course, Christianity into it. But the thing is, I was comparing it as an ideology itself. Because my point is, you have to look at the origin of the ideology to actually understand where it comes from, what it means, and what its purpose is. And if you look at Christianity, it seems to have come from a people who were disenfranchised with a hypocritical and corrupt state. And then Paul took it, and I think he corrupted it some. But I'm just going off of what I've read from the Gospels, right? When you look at Islam, Muhammad's a warlord. His idea of God reflects that. Anyway, I just lost one of my subscribers because of that. And I'm not crying about it at all, because quite frankly, I don't care. I have my beliefs. I have my opinions. If you're going to come at me with false accusations like that I watch Fox or something like that, or that I don't know what I'm talking about, because I definitely do know what I'm talking about. I mean, you can unsubscribe if you want to. That's fine. But odds are I'm going to double down on what I've said, especially if I know I'm right. See, the problem with people trying to argue certain things with me, like feminism, Islam, is that they don't actually like to bring in facts about the actual thing that we're trying to talk about, or the thing that I'm dissing on, right? So I'm dissing on Islam, and I'm dissing on the ideology, okay? Right? And the thing is that unless you can tell me that what I believe about the ideology is wrong and give me evidence for that, you can't give me false evidence and then expect me to agree with you. You can't just tell me, oh, well, you don't have experience with it, so you can't say anything about it. Like, that's... I don't have to have direct experience to understand when an ideology is toxic. I don't have to have direct experience to understand the facts and the statistics, and I don't have to have that. You know, that's not right. What I need to have is facts, logic, and reason behind me. Now, I haven't gone through the process of writing on a long speech or anything like that, and, you know, citing sources and stuff, but the experience that I've had has been, it was propagandized when I was young to like Islam. The more I learned about it, the less I liked it. And I'm not going to get into that all again. If you want to watch my other videos about me going more in depth about that. But they didn't like the fact that I disagree with them. So they did unsubscribe. And I told them in the second video to go ahead and do that if they wanted to. I don't care. You think I'm making YouTube videos to make money right now? No, because I have, 14 or 15 subscribers at the current moment. I just lost a few. I was up to like 18 at one point, and that was real impressive. But my point is that I'm not gonna back down from the things that I believe when I have cause to believe these things. I don't just go off of my feelings. What I go off of is the things that I hear, you know, that make sense, that seem logically true, that you can find evidence and facts to back up. Like, if you were to read through the Quran, you'd find this stuff. If you were to listen to Islamic leaders, you would hear this stuff. And I've heard these people talk, you know, they're not saying pleasant things. And anybody who looks at it and feels like they need to defend it, I think's awful. So my point is that when I know that I'm right, I'm going to double down, and I'm not going to be nice about it. Why would I be nice to you? Even if you are a subscriber, I don't care. Like, because this channel is about me. If you don't like what I have to say, you can go elsewhere. I don't need your views. I make my money doing other things. Okay? Eventually, maybe one day, I would like to make money doing this. But at this point, I don't care. I don't have enough subscribers to care. So the fact is, I try to be a very honest person, especially with my beliefs and how I feel about things, and usually my feelings are based off of information that I have, facts that I understand, arguments that I understand, and most of my anger comes from dealing with people who tell me that I don't understand when I do. And it comes from people who don't have a real argument with me. If you don't like the fact that I'm sitting here and I'm willing to be open and honest with you, you can go to another YouTuber who's just gonna tell you what you want to hear. I have no plans of that. That's why I consider myself a bitch, is because I'm not afraid to tell you guys what I think. This is part of my truth, right? As far as I can see it. This is how I can be honest with you, is to defend my position. And if you don't like that, you can leave. If you don't like me just saying that Islam is a toxic ideology, you can go somewhere else. If you don't like the jokes I make, you can go somewhere else. I don't need you. I don't need anybody. I piss off. Anonymously, of course. I piss off a lot of people, though. And I'm pretty bratty. I try to be nice to the people that I like being around. But beyond that, I just don't care. If you're upset with me, that's fine. I don't care. If you don't like me, that's fine. I don't care. And the thing is for a long time I did care. I did care what other people thought of me. But now I get angry not because I see, arguments or criticisms about what I've said as an actual attack against me. It's an attack against my ideas, and a lot of times I feel like it's, a lack of understanding or something along those lines. And I don't handle it the best. I get really angry because I don't have the best control over my emotions, but at the same time, when I do get angry, it usually just motivates me to make a video explaining more thoroughly my views and my thoughts. And so I try to at least direct that energy into something helpful. See, the person tried to respond on me in text form, and I had already made the video at that point. I guess they decided to just go ahead and delete all of their comments that was left on that video. They gave me one comment, praising me like, oh, this is such a great video. It was on the video where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm trans black and stuff. And so I thought that was interesting. It's like you have certain sacred cows. And the thing is, here's the thing. I don't consider me thinking Islam is toxic as a sacred cow. It's not a sacred cow, because I wouldn't, ever, walk up to someone who is Muslim and be like, you're an evil person for believing this shit. I might think it to myself, but that's because I know too much about Islam. It doesn't have to do with the person, right? And I can differentiate that, and I can take a step back and try to view it from other people's perspectives. But I think the perspective that these people have is just propagandized. And because I went through the same propaganda myself, and it does no good to back down from an argument when you know you're right. When you know that they don't have a leg to stand on. When you know that they can't refute the things that you've said. That's why I'm a bitch, is because I can't deal with stupid people. and my temper's too short to not hold back. I have to say something, I know it makes me sound a little crazy, but God, I gotta say something, because My brain otherwise just doesn't shut up. You know, I have to talk through it myself to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. That's part of why I'm so mean, I think, to people who, you know, piss me off with saying just untrue things or not making valid arguments. It pisses me off so much. I think because I used to be that way, you know? I hear the arguments that these people say, like, oh, like, you don't really know anything about Islam. Or Islam and Christianity, Judaism have the same gods and stuff like that. I used to say those same things. And you know what? It's just not true. These things just aren't true. And you cannot back down. When you know something's not true, you have to keep going after it. And you have to be honest about it. Where are you going to get in life if you're not honest with people about the things that you believe? Who knows? I think it's a lot more interesting to be the person who stands up and goes, this is what I believe. Here's why I believe it. And unless you come up with a really good argument against it, I'm not going to stop believing this because I have facts, evidence, and logic behind me. You know, it's that attitude, though, I think, you know, like, oh, you're just wrong, but I'm not going to explain why. Or I'm going to give you this reason, but the reason doesn't make sense. I can't respect that. And that's part of what makes me angry, too, is that I don't feel like I've been given a legitimate argument, so I have nothing to really work with. And so when I respond, I just end up sounding angry, even though I feel like I have really good points. But I figure at least me being honest and being true to myself is a good thing. So if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. I just don't care. Why would I? I like hearing compliments. Everybody does. Everybody likes the ego stroking, but I realize what that is. And it's not real, and it's not true to myself. And if I were to just buy into what everybody else believes or wants me to think or believe or whatever, then I wouldn't be any better than, like, the SJWs, you know? And it's like, for instance, I was having a conversation with somebody about Donald Trump. And I, of course, am a Trump supporter. I love Trump. But when I was talking to him, I said, you know, I haven't really been following it too closely lately. Certain things I have, right? But there's a lot of stuff I just don't know, and I'm not the best at doing a real debate, right? Because I'm very unorganized in the way that I think about things. I know the facts, right? But it's hard for me to organize. Even when I write things down on paper, I still feel like it's really unorganized. And I've always been that way. But I was able to say to him, you know, like, I don't feel comfortable with trying to debate you on this. And then he goes, oh, well, that's fair enough. What about this? And I'm like, well, if that's true, then I would agree with you. That's not a good thing. And I'm able to have a reasonable debate. I try not to have those sacred cows, you know? And the thing is that Islam as an ideology is not a good thing. It's just not a good thing. And I haven't been able to hear a reasonable counter-argument to the things that I've heard, to the things that I've, you know, researched and seen and understood about the religion. Even with the propaganda that I was exposed to growing up, trying to make Islam seem okay. Do you understand that? So, I'm not going to back down from things that I know I'm right on. I'm not going to be untrue to myself, and I'm not going to bow down to what other people believe. So, If you're looking for that type of YouTube channel where you're just going to hear what you want to hear, go somewhere else. Leave me alone. Otherwise, you're going to get a video made about you, odds are. Because that's the type of girl I am. I get pissed and I make videos, and you will be the target. That's just how it works. Alright, well, everybody have a good night. I really do need to get some sleep. It's probably not going to happen anytime soon because I'm super amped up, and I might end up making another video if I can't like shut my brain down enough to sleep. But I hope you guys all do well. I hope you're not idiots. And have a great day.